a head of household endurance winner, prank or no prank, and a Carol Rosher. Now on Big Brother Cheesecake for Office Wars. Hello, I'm Andrew Shevsik Moonves. Welcome to Big Brother Cheesecake for Office Wars. It's day 52 inside the Big Brother Cheesecake house, and yesterday we began the Big Brother Clockwork Endurance Head of Household competition, and today I have the results of that competition. Who will win it? We'll find out right now. So when we left off, there were only 4 house guests left: Brazil, Kat, Curtis, and Marcin. They were typing every half hour either clock or work until 3:30 a.m. And then I'm not sure whether a deal was made or whether it was just a coincidence, but at 4 a.m., the only house guest who typed in clock was Brazil. Congratulations, Brazil. You are the new head of household. Lindsay, please hand over the key to Brazil to her private HOH bedroom and bathroom. Brazil, you have until 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight to privately message me your 2 nominees and a reason why. Brazil also wins the red properties, Kentucky Avenue, Indiana Avenue, and Illinois Avenue, which will be used in a future Monopoly-themed Power Veto competition. Just to recap there, so Nick has the purple, Kat light blue, Curtis pink, Lindsay orange, Brazil red, next week's HOH is yellow, Curtis green, Ryan had dark blue, he was evicted, so this week's Golden Power Veto winner will get it. Lindsay has the railroads, and Marcin has the utilities, which Marcin actually did say in the group chat today. Nobody's ever won Monopoly, but just utilities. And it's true, the utilities, I hate to say it, are kind of useless. But yeah, so congratulations, Brazil, on that. Marcin did actually type clock into the group chat at 4:01, just FYI. Kat and Curtis did not type anything at all. Okay, now our next order of business is Charlene, who played in season 1 and 3. Oh, she played in season 2 as well. 1, 2, and 3. She... Every season after she gets evicted, she correctly picked the winner of Big Brother Cheesecake. So she came in 6th place in season 1 and then said Jeffrey would win. She was dead last in season 2 and said Chanel would win and got into it with Chanel in the public forum the whole season long, but was right. You gotta get Chanel out. Chanel's the one you gotta get out. And in season 3, after she was evicted, she said Chantel would win. So she's 3 for 3, and I asked her once we got to jury who she thought would win this season to see if she can go 4-0. And she said, Andrew, I really think the winner of this season is going to be Kat. And Kat right now is thinking, oh no, not more pressure. And also, I really hope they get out CJ. She's annoying. Anyway, the next order of business. So, before we get to prank or no prank, yesterday in the group chat, it's been pretty obvious that Brenda has not been herself lately, and based on her comments in the last couple of days. And so, Brenda apparently messaged a lot of people with some angry messages this morning, and she then posts in the group chat, Brazil, put me up and send me home. You can keep the boys who are stringing you along happy. And then she leaves the group chat. And I'm thinking, oh, great. It's Carol Rosher 2.0. It's happening to me again. Carol, for those of you who don't know, she played in Big Brother Canada 8. She threatened to quit multiple times throughout the season. And then the week before the show was shut down because of the pandemic, she asked everyone to vote her out. And what was interesting there is she was up on the block against Min Lee. And a lot of house guests wanted Minley out, but Carol was begging to leave. And nobody will know what would have happened. I think they would have voted Carol out, but we'll never really know because there was still, I think there was, what day were they shut? They were shut down on Monday, right? So the eviction would have been Thursday. So there was still 3 days for 3 days for shit to change in the house, and who knows what would have happened. So when Brenda left the group, I was seeing red because even though I had 3 people quit in season 1 and 1 person quit in season 2, that all happened really, really early in the season, and the easy solution of, well, let's just put Ryan back in the game doesn't work here. Ryan was evicted. I ripped up his piece of paper. Those pieces of paper are non-replaceable, and also we're so deep in the game that people really stuck their neck out on the line to evict Ryan and blindside him. And it's not fair to the 4 people who evicted him that he just comes back the next day just because Brenda happened to quit or leave. So before Brenda actually quit, I had a conversation with her and I said, you've gone through 51 days. People have compared her to Vanessa from season 17, and I get the comparison because Vanessa would cry all day, and then she would have this moment of clarity and brilliance. And she made it to 3rd place and should have won that season. And I see the comparison to Brenda, and I think Brenda, had this not happened and had she just continued along the way she was, I think she was guaranteed 2nd place. But I had a conversation with Brenda. I said, listen, oh, and the other thing with season 1 and season 2, the people who quit, they quit before the double eviction. So in seasons 1 and 2, I just canceled the double eviction. This time, I had the double eviction already because I thought, oh, well, no one's going to quit now, so let's do the double eviction. Well, so much for that. So I said, listen, Brenda, take 24 hours, leave the group chat, think about it, breathe, relax, maybe you'll have a change of heart. And she said, okay. So, regardless of her decision whether she wants to come back into the group chat or not, I'm keeping her in the game because I want to go with this whole Carol Rosher 2.0 sort of storyline in what I like to call the weekend at Bernie's scenario, where you have sort of a dead body, and Joe almost turned into this in season 2, because in season 2 he got really, really angry and said, to hell with this. But then he came back with firing rage and told everyone to go fuck themselves, including Ashley and Chanel. And, so in Weekend at Bernie's, we all remember the dead body who was sort of dragged around the beach house over the weekend and blah, 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 and the party and this and that. I only saw the movie once because it was funny, but it wasn't fantastic. And so I'm curious to see how, if Brenda doesn't return, how she does as sort of the dead body from Weekend at Bernie's. Because to Brazil, it doesn't make a lot of sense to take out Brenda when she's not even playing. And to a lot of house guests, it may not make sense. So we're going to see what happens. Brenda still may return. She still has her Ruby Power veto. And, if, by the way, if Brazil chooses to nominate Brenda and Brenda does get evicted, I promise Brazil, and I think this is fair because her HOH has really been sidetracked now, that Brazil will be able to compete in next week's Head of Household competition if Brenda is the one evicted. She does not have to nominate Brenda if she doesn't want to. Yeah, Brenda wants to quit, and the majority of the house guests are on board with an easy week. But if she doesn't want to, she can nominate whoever the hell she wants. And when it comes down to if she does nominate Brenda and we have Brenda versus somebody else, the house guests can vote to evict Brenda, or they can go the other way. I mean, who knows? We'll see how far the dead body goes if Brenda is firm that she's not coming back. But yeah, I hope with a bit of time, Brenda will realize that she's been here 51 days out of 85. So she's past halfway. She's made it to the final 8. Prior to this, and now maybe not so much, but prior to this, she was in a fantastic position to make at least final 2, which is $100. And, and the house guests, I think, were dragging her, to a degree, were dragging her along because she wasn't able to win comps. I mean, she has not won a competition yet, but she's due. She could win at any time. But the house guests also have to remember that if you're going to drag somebody to the end to potentially final 2, that's one of the 2 chairs that's being taken. So that's also a disadvantage with taking a potentially weaker player along. But anyway, so we'll see what happens with Brenda, Aka, Carol, Rosher. Because really, the Carol versus Minley vote was fascinating to me because it was somebody who really, really wanted out versus somebody who the house guests really, really wanted out. And if anybody else sat next to Minley, Minley would have been gone that week for sure. I don't think she had any support because she just lost Jamar. She lost somebody else. I already forgot. But was it Kyle that she was working with too? No, I can't remember. Anyway, but she had no support. She would have been gone under normal circumstances. And so I'm very curious to see if Brenda's nominated against anybody else. Will the temptation to take a strong player out be enough for the house guests to do that, or will they grant Brenda her wish and send her to jury? But Brenda, I will, if you're listening, you're out of the group chat now. In the event you choose to stay, you do have to come back into the main chat. Even if you can mute the conversation. There's an ignore. What's the button? Ignore conversation. I can't see the button, but I think there's either a mute conversation or an ignore conversation. And if you are evicted and you want to be in jury, you have to be in the jury chat as well. So that's the situation as it is. Okay, let's get to prank or no prank. So there are only 3 Jell-O cups remaining: lemon, strawberry, and raspberry. 3 cups. 1 is good, no prank. 2 are bad, prank, including the Pooh Brown Power Veto. After all this drama happened, I thought maybe there was a chance that Lindsay, Marcin, and Curtis, the last 3 house guests not tempted, would say yes, because maybe they can escape Pooh Brown with this whole Brenda situation. But I was wrong. They all said no. So I'm now going to draw a name and remove one of the pranks. So it's going to be unfortunately boring again this week. Thanks, everyone. But next week I'm spicing it up. So pay attention. Oh, let's do the draw first and get rid of one of them. So if you are Lindsay, Marcin, or Curtis, you don't want your name drawn now because you want to stay in for the chance to play next week. Okay, here we go. Ready? It's time to play prank or no prank. So exciting. Even when they all said no, it's so exciting. Okay, here we go. Okay. Go in the middle. Yeah, I think I'll go right in the middle with Curtis. So Curtis has decided not to play. None of you chose a cup anyway, so I'm going to remove, to make it interesting for next week, I'm going to remove the prank. That's not the Pooh Brown Power Veto. I think you all knew that was coming. And funnily enough, a lot of you were thinking raspberry this season. But what the hell are those things doing there? Get the hell. Pieces of shit. Anyway. A lot of you were picking raspberry this season. Lindsay picked it all along and somebody else picked raspberry, but that would have been a bad choice because raspberry was a prank. I've also noticed the water level has been going down in it over the course of the weeks. And I know I'm not supposed to drink it and Chantel's going to give me shit. Well, you know what? I know you love me anyway. It's like... Okay, ready? Second last week of this. Isn't it sad? This season has flown by. I can't believe this is the second last prank or no prank. I love raspberry normally. Oh! What was that? That was as if somebody took a raspberry flavored drink and, you know in The Simpsons when Apu had his like super squishy thing and he made it like super sweet? Like, I think all the water sort of disapparated. Harry Potter. The water is going invisible. All the water... What is the word for it? I don't know. It just went away, and all the sugary shit stayed. Okay, so the piece of paper basically fell apart in my hands. Probably because that raspberry Jell-O became poisonous, and the paper it destroyed paper. But what it would have been had Lindsay or anybody else picked it, he said it would have been obviously a prank. And unfortunately I forgot what the Office reference was. Every prank had an Office reference in. I have no idea. We'll say Todd Packer bangs your wife. I don't know. The prank would have been that you cannot play in the next 3 head of household competitions, which had it been drawn this week would have been 2 head of household competitions because they're only eligible for 2 more weeks. But yeah, that would have been a bad one. Cannot play in 3 HOH comps. Okay, but we have just lemon and strawberry left. One contains the Pooh Brown Power Veto, which was won in week 2 the last 2 seasons and is still there. And the other is a no prank, which I can tell you is, I would say, very good. Maybe not as good as Ryan's promotion to jury, but it's up there. So here's what's going to happen next week. All 7 house guests may have the chance to play prank or no prank. We're going to be doing it in zones. So, you know, like zones when you get on a plane and zone 1 gets to board first, and then there's always some idiot from zone 3 who's like, I want to board in zone 1. Like Lindsay's ex-boyfriend, Craig. They were getting on a plane once, and Craig said, we can just get in the line now. And Lindsay's like, no, my mom worked for Air Canada for like 30 years, and I'm a frequent flyer. No, you cannot just get into zone 1 when you're in zone 3. And he tried it anyway, and they got up to the gate, and the lady's like, no, you got to go to the back of the line. And of course, I can just picture the look on that smug look on Lindsay's face when they get back of the line, and you know, it's that I told you so look. But in that case, yeah, she's 100% right. Anyway, so it's going to be in 3 zones. Zone 1 is Lindsay and Marcin because they have not played yet. Zone 2 are all the house guests who said yes in the first place, which would be Brenda, Kat, and CJ. Zone 3 are the house guests who said no in the first place, which would be Nick, Brazil, and Curtis. So I'm going to ask everybody, do you want to play prank or no prank? And if so, do you want lemon or strawberry? We're going to start with zone 1. Lindsay and Marcin. If they say yes, they get to play. For all the zones, if your first choice is taken, you automatically get the second choice because it's random. I mean, nobody really knows between lemon and strawberry. It's random. So if your first choice is taken, you get the second choice. So if Lindsay and Marcin both say yes, then everybody else in zone 2 and 3 doesn't get to play. If one or both of them say no, we move on to zone 2. And then again, if anybody wants to play, they can. And if not, we move to zone 3, who gets the last priority. And if, in the case of zones 2 and 3, if all 3 people in the zone say yes, then we'll go to random draw to see which 2 get it, which I don't expect that to happen. So yeah, so Lindsay and Marcin get first priority next week. Kat, CJ, Brenda get second priority next week. And then third priority goes to Nick, Brazil, and Curtis. Okay. With that said, who will Brazil nominate for eviction? Find out tomorrow, and we'll pick players for the Golden Power Veto competition. Saturday is the rules to an all-new Golden Power Veto competition. Sunday is the Golden Power Veto results. Monday, the Golden Power Veto ceremony. Tuesday, the final 2 nominees plead their case. And Wednesday, another house guest will be evicted from the Big Brother Cheesecake 4 house, fired from Dunder Mifflin, lose their shot at the $400 Cheesecake Factory gift card, and join Ryan in the jury house. I'm Andrew Chefs of Moonvest. Take care, and we leave you as we each drop on the house guests. Good night.